what is it that I'm called to do and what do I need to do. He was an honor student. He was a 10th grader at West Roxbury High School. He wanted to be the nation's first black president.
Wow.
Then the resources started to shift, and the messages in the media started to shift. And then really hearing, good kid in the wrong place at the wrong time. That didn't seem right. He was walking to the train station. Why should it be justifiable that bad things can happen even to good people simply because of where they live? I wanted to teach young people the value of peace. I wanted to really show the assets of my community, the goodness of my community, and not the deficits or just a place where bad things happen. Change the way society responds to murder, to families impacted by murder.
Wow.
And that's what has me here today. We are here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, open to the public. Family needs us to be here late. We can be here late. Sessions are going on the third week in May in terms of Sandtray Wordplay, working with the homicide detectives, the court investigation. So there's sessions that will be going on after starting in May. We also have twice a month that we work with the families of those whose loved ones are incarcerated through the Intergenerational Justice Program. That again, families come together to really deal with the shame, the pain, and the stigma, to get to know one another and to understand what is life when someone is in prison or as they prepare to come out of prison. You can go onto our website, and it's www.ldbpeaceinstitute.org.
Okay, so your son's name was Louis D. Brown.
Right.
So that's where the LDB comes from.
Exactly. When Louis was killed, nothing like this existed. There were no resources. There were no protocol. There wasn't anyone to say, here's what you do. I left the hospital empty-handed, both physically and within my soul. And that was one of the commitments that I wanted to do, really transform the way society responds to homicide. And we're here. Yet is a two-sided. If we depend on the systems, on those, the police department, the district attorney's office, the hospitals, the street workers, the faith community, whoever is that first responder, to let families know there is a place for you that can guide you from death notification to post-funeral activities to long-term healing. We depend on them to let families know, because we don't reach out to families. We don't have that capacity.
Right.
Yet we are here as a center of healing, teaching, and learning.
Right. Excellent. I know for me it was like people that already knew the resources in the community brought me here.
Yes.
And that was awesome. So I didn't feel like people were intruding my space. And it's such a touchy place, because you want people to embrace you, but then you don't want anybody to touch you.
Yes.
And so, I take my hat off to you for even intervening in people's lives where, it is a very sensitive place in their life, where you've just, lost a loved one, your child. No mother should bury their son or their daughter.
Right.
And so it's so backwards, and fortunately mainstream media does kind of okay in our community this. But we have people like Tina Cheri to embrace us. Yay!
Well, it is. It's a sense of a justification, because again, for me, I will say, before Louis was killed, I didn't think it could happen to me.
Right.
I felt for that mother, but society tells you, the media tells you, drug deal gone bad. They just came out of prison. They were just released from county jail or the Department of Youth Services. So therefore, then you kind of feel, oh, okay, that's those people. And again, until it happened to me and realized, whoa, I am those people.
Right.
So for me, and for us as a community, how do we not allow mainstream media, and how do we not allow others to define who we are as a community, who our sons are, who our husbands are, who our daughters are, who we are as a community, that we're both losing at both ends. And it has nothing to do with this concept of forgiveness. I always put, well, what if it was my son who had committed an atrocious crime? What would I want? I really want somebody to help me and to be there for me also, and not to judge me for what, and I'm not even going to blame society, but for what we have allowed to happen within our community. So for us, it's a hard place to be, and that's why we don't do that outreach, because it's kind of bittersweet, where the only time we come in contact with families is when something bad happens, bad such as murder, whether it is you're calling us or you're being connected to us because your child is going to sentence for prison for murder, or whether you're being connected to us because your loved one was murdered. It's not a good place to be in. And it's a sense of, oh my God, am I Lady Death? Is that what society sees me at? Ooh, Lord. Is that what society sees me as? As, you know, the only time you knock on the Peace Institute is when something bad happens. So we want to be able to say, no, this is not who we are. Yet, something bad does happen. And we want to make sure that our community, that the families in our community, regardless who that victim was, there's a place where the families can bury their loved one with dignity and with compassion, and not justifying why the murder happened. A space where you can come and vent and get frustrated at a system, and yet at the same time, how does your own internal healing can begin to happen, and the power that you have then can begin to arise. I mean, looking at you now, you're on the other side, using this amazing skill that you have to be able to show others what the Peace Institute is about. So it's kind of a both and it's a give and take, where now you are using your gift, and you're not depending on mainstream media to help get the message out as to what a family goes through, the injustice that a family goes through, the sense of blaming with communities of colors when young black boys or brown boys are killed on the street. That you are now using your gift and your talent to say, I'm going to provide a voice for others that do not have a voice. So it is that two-way street. I have a center, yet you have a tool. And working together as survivors, what we are really doing is really breaking down that barrier. It's really breaking down that division.
And showing, I think, the human piece. So now it is my obligation as a mother, as his advocate, to put a face to who Amir was. And to put a face to, it is not okay to shoot anyone.
But now it happens on Boston Street, on Beacon Hill. It's again, we want to justify because we want to tell the rest of the community, oh, don't worry, this is not going to happen. Well, no, it can happen, it is happening, and it did happen. This year, 20th anniversary of the Mother's Day Walk for Peace. Well, we're starting here in Fields Corner. We're going to go through different communities. We're going to connect also at Madison Park, and we're walking down to City Hall to do exactly that. Murder doesn't just happen in Dorchester, in Fields Corner. Murder is happening across the city, across the state, across this country, across the world. So this 20th anniversary, the people are going to government, and the people are coming together in unity and saying, we are one. We are a cross sector, and we're going to celebrate the courage of our community by again making this connection and going through City Hall and walking through this great city of ours. Well, this is my favorite part of this place. This is called Sand Tray World Play, and it is exactly what the name is, Sand Tray. So we have a bunch of trays with sands, and they're different color sands. And then all of these miniatures are what's considered all the elements in the world. From animals to insects to birds to dwellings to seashells, spirituality, different types of people, characters, you name it, these are the elements in the world. And the idea behind this is that we all have, as human beings, the innate ability within us to do what we need to do to heal, to change. And it's being done through play. So you select the sand, you're playing in the sand, and the concept is that sand has this texture, a way of healing. And then you're invited to look to what's calling you in the world to play. Without any preconceived notions. Something may feel repulsive, like I hate snakes, I hate critters, I hate frogs. Yet, if I'm playing in the sand, I may be called to pull out a rubber snake or a frog or something. And the invitation is to select it. And you place it in the sand, and then you can begin to share why this world came to you today. And then at some point go into what does it mean for you, this world coming in this way. And it's a different type of therapy. It's a different methodology. And for me, I've never seen a therapist, yet this was something that really helped me in my journey. And it's something that I wanted to be able to offer to this community. And a lot of the figures that are here are from licensed sand tray therapists that once they found out that I had sand tray wordplay here, their figures came out of retirement, and a lot of them are sitting here. They're kind of, living here for a while. So this is something that we offer to families, to individuals, to social workers, to anybody who wants to just try something differently. People can come in during the week. They can do guided sessions. They can let us know. Rachel right now is going to provide something to some social work students that are in the schools.
Beautiful.
Or you can come in and let us know that you're here. You can get a tray. You can go into one of our counseling rooms, and you can really do it on your own. But what we do, the last Wednesday of every month, we do an open house with different topics where the community, anybody can come in and experience sand tray wordplay if they want to, or just be in our space and learn about what we're doing, and also make connections to other people. So there's no you don't have to worry about, oh my goodness, they're going to make me do this, and they're going to, no, it's really just coming in to see that in Dorchester there is really a place that can serve as a center of healing, teaching, and learning within our own community, and it's a space where everybody can come and everybody feels comfortable and safe.
I see. You also offer counseling. Who is that?
We have a relationship with Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, and there's a counselor here 3 days a week. Emma T. and Cynthia are here from Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. Also, other counselors will come in and meet with families. Again, instead of going to their homes, many times families don't want to go to the hospital. They just don't feel comfortable going certain places.
All across town.
Right, so the counselors will come here and meet with the families. So while we're doing all this, working with families and providing a space where communities can begin to heal, there's also that larger vision of transforming society's response to homicide, where we can create and support an environment where all families can live in peace and are also valued just for being families. So there's a vision of taking our publications. We are an expert at what we do, and we have published materials that others can be able to use, where the police department can give a burial guide to the family, where the hospitals can give a burial guide to the families. So anybody that's first responder, here is a tool so families will be served, and with dignity and compassion in that initial intervention phase. We really are looking for a bigger place, a bigger space where anyone who's doing this work, where it be a one-stop shop for families.
Beautiful.
You can come in and get your counseling. You can come in and get your, I don't know, if you want renew your driver's license. So instead of going all over the city and the state for different things, we're inviting systems to come in here and have days within the community, so if families need you. Corrections victim services, parole victim services, probation victim services, so it's all here under one umbrella.
Beautiful.
And then just a space where, again, community.
Beautiful.
Community can begin to celebrate, and community can begin to heal, and we will be a model for others on how to respond to things. Sunday, May 8th, yes.
Sunday, May 8th.
6 o'clock in the morning, we're gonna be in Phil's Corner.
Okay.
8 o'clock is a speaking program, very brief, with some warm-up, of course, and 8:30 the walk begins. So by 9:30, 9 something, we'll be at Madison Park. So if you're tired and you want to get out, you can get out. If you can't come to Dorchester and you want to meet us at Madison Park, then you can meet us at Madison Park.
Okay.
And we will continue. So we're going to go through the South End, Tremont Street, and then,
To City Hall.
Congress, and then to City Hall.
Okay.
Yes.
Great, great. And I know that people can pledge.
Yes, the idea is it's like any other walk that you're creating a team. That's actually a walk website, Mother's Day Walk, the number 4peace.org.
Okay.
Where you can create a walking team if you want to, in honor of your loved one, in memory of your loved one, or maybe in honor of your mother, or you just want to create a team for your workforce, whatever that is. But we're raising funds the same way we do for the Walk for Hunger, for the breast cancer, for AIDS. And we encourage walkers. It doesn't cost you to walk, but we encourage you to at least raise $100 if you're walking by yourself, or as a team, a minimum of $1,000. And they're just different ways. The website really tells you how to do what to do. And we don't want it to be pressure, but as mothers, we can say, this is my day. This is how I want to spend my day, and I'm asking all of you, before the roses, the flowers, and the breakfast, let's go be in community. Let's be with others who are going through the same thing as to what we're going through. Let's celebrate, and then you can take me out for the Hallmark version of this.
Right. This is a beautiful way to celebrate, I think, with our families, and really recognizing that we have lost as a community, as a whole. And once we see how many people are affected by this, it's not a small thing, or it's not something that we can turn our heads away from, and we have a responsibility civically, I think, anyway. I'm putting my 2 cents in.
There you go.
As usual. We do have an obligation, and we have to look at all of the community that's affected.
Yes.
And I think it's a beautiful way to embrace, recognize each other, and celebrate mothers.
Yes.
I think it's a beautiful way, because I don't have my mother, and I know there are children that don't have mothers.
Yes.
And so it's a nice way to have community.
And I'm glad you said that, because there's a lot of people that say, well, I haven't lost a child. Should I still be there? Yes, you should. Because maybe your mother is not here, and acknowledging that. Others are not there, and acknowledging that. So I'm glad you said that. Let's not wait for something bad to happen to us to then come out and supporting each other.
Yes, thank you so much for that awesome opportunity. I heard last year, the traffic was stopped, which is awesome, in honor of mothers, that have had losses, and just to see that show of community is exciting. And I'm so excited for you and the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute, the great exploits, and to see how you are expanding, and the vision is expanding, and more people are coming together. And, if you have been affected by homicide, definitely come by. And if you want to volunteer, if you want to be a part of the walkathon on Mother's Day, there's so many ways to get involved as well. So can you tell us how people can get involved?
They can call, they can go to our website, they can give us a call, they can just come and be a witness first, because we know people are very busy.
Right.
They can offer their expertise. We're always looking for skills that you have, or you can just come and be a witness. But again, we don't enforce you volunteering.
Okay.
But once you come in here, is again, what is your passion?
Right. Okay.
What is the gift that you want to? And then how do How in here can we help? Because maybe it's not even volunteering here. Maybe you're called, you want to do something in honor of your loved one. You don't know what you want to do.
Right.
That's what we will guide you also. We will sit, we will listen to you. We will hear your heart, we will hear your struggle, we will build on your strength.
Beautiful.
And then we will work with you to create some strategies so that you can then go out and do what your heart desire is. So it's kind of that both ends. People come to volunteer, but then they leave here, and next thing you know, we're celebrating because they've started something in honor of their loved one.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's excellent. That is so excellent. And I always say, my son's death is not in vain, and there was purpose in that, because that has kind of given me a platform now to talk about how I deal with it,
Right.
you know, and what I see, and maybe other people might not say it or see it the way I do. So it's important for me to give perspective.
Yes.
And to, I mean, have you highlighted on the show is an honor. And thank you so much. I really appreciate this
Well,
time.
thank you for that. And that'll take us into the next phase, which is our statewide peer-to-peer survivors network. Mm-hmm. We are across the state of this Commonwealth, and there's survivors that don't have, and I'm going to use this word privilege, as some of us, to be able to find our purpose in the midst of our pain. So our vision is that we want to provide that space, and we want to catalog and highlight the amazing work that we as survivors, how have we transformed our pain and anger into power and action, and how are we affecting and influencing public policy based on our personal experience collectively, so that we can show our legislators this is who we are as a survivors community. We are working in different aspects. We all come with a different array of challenges and issues and concerns. Yet we will be a force, and you will not divide us, because it is through our pain and anger that we have found our purpose, and now we're turning it into action. So that's going to be the next phase of our work, is again shifting the tides. You're interviewing me,
Right.
It'll be interviewing you, and you will be a part of that catalog that we're creating.
Thank
So
you.
any survivors that is doing something, that wants to do something, it doesn't have to be creating a foundation. Whatever it is that you're doing, that you're called to do it. It could be in your church. It could be in your workplace, wherever you are that you're called to honor your loved one. Let us know. Reach out to Alexandra. She's the one. Alexandra at LDBPeaceinstitute.org. She's the one that's leading this. And again, to be able to show who we are, as we're a community within diverse community, and to show who we are.
Right. And it's powerful to work collectively.
Yes.
And that is awesome, because a lot of times we do think we are alone.
Yes.
And we just are by ourselves, and
want to do everything by ourselves, and it's exhausting.
it really is. Thank you for being here.
It is exhausting, because
is.
we all have issues, pressing issues, and yes, let's put them all on the table, and let's collectively agree, here are 99 issues, realistically. Which one can we handle, and how do we handle it, and how do we celebrate when we make a very, very small dent and change? And that's how we got Survivors of Homicide Victims Awareness Month, which is November 20th to December. Collectively, survivors came across. And we said, you know what? Before we can deal with this issue, we need to let people know that we're here as a community. That's how we came with a decision. Okay, let's create a month the same way domestic violence, the same way sexual assault, the same way child abuse, the same way AIDS awareness. Let's create a month for us as survivors of homicide victims. Let's do something so people know that we exist. And then, what are some other policies that we can come up with?
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, that's great to have exploits like that.
Yes.
And to be able to come together. And I'm just excited for this time and season, because it seems like there is a shift.
Yes.
And people are getting up together, aware and together, which is awesome. Thank you so much. Tina, for this interview. And you are welcome here. What's the address?
15 Christopher Street.
15 Christopher Street, right in Fields Corner. Yes, right off of Dorchester Ave. There's parking.
Yes.
There's plenty of space in place.
And there's always food and coffee or tea.
Yay! And we have the best coffee, Bustelo. Thank you so much, Miss Cheri. It's an awesome privilege and honor to have you on Patti Lee TV and on BNN. And I just... my prayer is that you have great exploits in everything that you do, and that the vision that you have come to fruition in Jesus' name.
Amen.
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 Thank you.
Amen.
Thanks, Patti.
You're welcome. Thank you.